So good afternoon, everyone. This is Audrey Russo, President and CEO of the Pittsburgh Technology Council. And we have a great guest today, as we always do, but I'm really excited to introduce Justin Strong in just a moment. And I just want to set the stage for a couple of things. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Huntington Bank for being our sponsor and supporting us in all the experiments that we've been running and through the last 10 months of doing this show. And we're very thrilled at all the people that we've met and the connections that people have made all across the community. Jonathan Kirsting is with us here each and every day, and he is the Vice President of all things media and storytelling at the Pittsburgh Technology Council. He's going to keep his eye on the chat and make sure that if there are questions that we can throw them over to Justin. And I also want to give exposure to the organization called 40 by 80, which is part of the Tech Council. It's a longitude and latitude of Pittsburgh, and we focus on all things workforce development and entrepreneurs. You're going to hear a lot more about the work that we're doing in workforce development very, very soon. But if you want to know more, go out to our website and you can find information there. So we have muted your microphones, and we do that because we just don't want to hear what's going on in the background wherever you are, and making sure that we're paying attention to our guest. And like I said, we have a chat. This is not an opportunity for you to sell your wares. We are focused on our guest today. So, and our guest today is Justin Strong. And Justin, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. Thank you for the invite.
It's so great to have you here with us. And we are going to talk a little bit. I mean, you are a man of many interests and have done a lot across the community. But today we want to kick off and really focus on the family businesses, small businesses, family businesses, and what they've experienced, particularly over this last year. And your business has been, definitely impacted. And I think you have a great story to sort of share. So what would be great is talk about this one business, which is the dry cleaning business that has been in your family and you've been at the helm of.
Yes, so currently I am one of the co-owners and operators of Strong 2 Dry Cleaners, which is the current legal form of the operations of a family dry cleaning business that will turn 91 years old in April.
Wow.
So started by my grandfather in 1919. Was it 1919? No, he was born 1930. In Shelby, North Carolina, and it made its way up from Shelby to the Pittsburgh area, 1942, and kind of been like a mainstay of, within the Black business community in Pittsburgh, for those decades. And currently we have the plant located in Homewood since 91, when my dad moved it from Braddock down to Homewood in 91. So just cleaning and steaming. That's what we do.
Where are you located exactly, and how many operations do you have right now today?
Currently the main plant is in Homewood on Frankstown Avenue, this little block that has a handful of businesses, Dorsey's Records and Jones Printing are some of the other anchors that are also some of the oldest Black generational Black businesses in the metro area, all on the same block. And we have a downtown affiliate store that we sold off this summer that is operated under our names, but is owned by a different company. It's located in the Grant Building at the corner of 3rd in a really awkward storefront. So it kind of works out perfectly for us. It's just like drop your stuff off and no work gets done there. It's just like an exchange. And then recently, last week, we just did a partnership with a tailor shop on Armour Boulevard in Forest Hills, an express drop site, which basically you come with your bag with your name on it, you just hand it to them and go. We pick up, process it, tag it, do the payment, drop it off, and you just pick it up. So it's almost like a Amazon locker situation. I'm playing around with different things to kind of get creative, where to add value. on my end, but also there's other, creative ways where other small businesses that are looking for additional revenue stream, whether it's like $200 extra a month or $500 extra a month, makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for, it could be a convenience store or a tailor shop or just somewhere where someone's just like, this could just be a drop spot for people. And we've been, pushing our delivery service more, especially during the pandemic. So we have a new POS system that has an app so people can go on and request service and track their orders and pay their orders
Wow.
on the app. So we really kind of took this crisis opportunity to kind of look at where we're at and how we can pivot and take advantage of the situation.
The signs of a real entrepreneur. So you've
always say, unfortunately, I'm really good with crisis management.
So the application, the app that you use, is that locally developed, or is that an app that you actually purchased?
It's part of the POS, the point of sale system that we switched over to. Is actually based in London.
Okay.
Called Clean Cloud, and they pretty much give you, you have your it's cloud-based POS system. So we literally are just on a website, putting in the orders, printing out the tags, and then it comes with pretty much a white label app that has your store logo on it, and your customers find your store listed on the app, and then they can go from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so just as we're still talking about the store, you've actually made it through the pandemic doing okay because of all the pivots. So you actually offer a lot of different services, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're full service. So, the work gets done there. Only thing that we do not do there is our leather and fur business, which, you need a specialist to clean those. So we work with Outfit Detroit that actually does pretty much everybody's work in the area. So they come in once a week with a shuttle, pick up, take it to Detroit, and then weeks later,
Right.
but laundry, dry clean, alterations, repairs, residential, commercial, government, institution, we do it all.
So what do you hear from other dry cleaners? Is there a network of people that that are in the business? Are you hearing anything around the region in terms of their success? One person has talked about their dry cleaning had to go to pick up and delivery only, and even still struggled. So what are you hearing?
No, it's rough out there across the board. Some of the handful of cleaners that I've talked to and have relationships with over the years, that because typically what happens in the dry cleaning business, something breaks and you still need to get work done. So it's good to have relationships with other cleaners.
Right.
Come in and like, hey, can I press these pants, or can you do these shirts for me while I get this piece of equipment fixed? So I'm always, touching base with them, and, some have suffered anywhere from 60, 70% down in the worst month, which was like around May last year. We were down about 75%. I know over the summer, we got it back up to, by the time September, we were running about 20% behind compared to last year. And I just ran the numbers for January. And we're actually only down about 4 or 5%. Wow. But that was through, acquiring new clients and, it wasn't so much like we went on the offensive with the advertising, the marketing. So I think a lot of times in times of panic or stress or crisis, a lot of times we like to do a woe as me, and I kind of just went, look at me.
Right.
No, we're here. We're still here. We're still, pumping it out. And when you're dealing, especially with someone with cleaning, with dry cleaning, it's very personal. You're dealing with people's clothes. They want to have the confidence that I'm gonna give you this, $1,000 suit, that I'm paying $13 to get it clean, that I'm not going to show up and the place is padlocked and, I can't get my items.
Right.
So, but we're 91 years, we've been through a lot. So just kind of keep, it happens. I mean, it doesn't happen. Happens every, Spanish flu happens. But what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we get it. That's great. So I just got a direct message question. What was from Matt Rosenberg? What was the process and how you selected the point of sale software Clean Cloud? And was this an essential part of your transformation?
Actually, I saw a ad on Facebook. So you know how Facebook listens to your conversations. So sometimes it's good.
Really? Do they?
Thank you, Facebook. I was just talking about. How did you know? You ask.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's weird. So I looked into it and read some reviews, and the guys, they walked us through some trial runs, and we liked the cloud format. And it's always good to we were with our previous one probably in some capacity since like 2007. And I know I had the desktop and the computer, and like I had that stuff for at least 5 years. I'm like, I ain't getting no upgrades on this. So it was just like, yeah, let's take advantage of the situation. Let's not try to do the same thing the same way and expect results. So
no, good for you. Well, we put your link out there. I think Lexi and our team put the link out there. So if you want to know more about his business and get in touch with all the services that they have, we put it out there. So I just want to shift for a little bit, Justin, and because everyone can hear already that you're an entrepreneur. We've listened to, the kind of innovation and collaboration already in just your examples. But you've also, done a lot to shape our communities, our local communities here. And, can you talk about, let's just talk about East Liberty? I mean, can we at all? Just talk about, yes, thumbs up. Okay.
I'm miming with Kit right now.
Oh, you're mine. Okay. I thought you were doing it to me. Okay.
Okay.
So what conversations, can you just talk about yourself and some of your work in East Liberty?
Yeah, sure. I, was somewhat pretty much known, but I was the founder and co-owner of Shadow Lounge and Ava in East Liberty that ran from 2000 to 2013 in East Liberty. And I did a short 1-year stint in North Oakland at the old Luna Bar. That didn't last more than a year. But yeah, so the Shadow Lounge was a place I opened when I was 21. I should have graduated Pitt that year, and I did not. Previous 2 years of my Pitt endeavors, I was throwing parties and fashion shows and lyricist battles in my backyard on Myron Avenue. And so I was a little bit behind in my studies, and kind of played around with this idea for 2 years prior. And then one day was in East Liberty and looked at a couple different places, and one of them actually was like, all right, have to check by Thursday. And I was like, oh, okay. And, used a check, one of those cash advance checks on my American Express Blue. Don't ever do that. It's fun now. It's a funny story.
Great stories later, doesn't it?
Yeah. Got turned down for a Advantage card at Giant Eagle. I was like, man, they're still jacking me up. I'm joking. Giant Eagle wants all your information.
Right.
Yeah, it was this performance lounge that grew and gave a platform for social and artistic expression, and we have some great talent that is known and unknown. Everyone from Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller when they were like in high school, to my man Daru Jones, who's killing the game in the drum world, who used to be our house drummer for Mike Night every week, and he's the drummer for Jack White, so I get to see him on
Yeah.
Grammys and have friends that, Margot B, who's like, I don't know what she's on now. So a couple of ABC shows. And, it's just like, you hear these stories of these times of
Mhm.
cultures that had impact, whether it's Harlem Renaissance or like the, New York City disco days. And like, at those moments, you never know who's who.
Mhm.
Everybody just kind of is experiencing something together. Like, it's special. You're not sure how it's going to pan out, but I always had an interest in playing a role in that and not have to be like in the big role, like just that one little piece of it that everybody can refer back to. So it was a great time, man. We expanded and opened, knocked some holes in some walls and added some additional rooms and branded the rooms differently. And there's everything from poetry to monthly African dance nights to global beats nights to reggae to hip hop to, jazz was big. Yeah. And then the development came and we had to go.
It happened because I remember, I think I remember, weren't you connected into what was then originally the second bar, Marco? Was there like a connection?
No, so there was, we were like an L shape. So
Right.
Shadow, you came in on Baum Boulevard. Ava, you came in South Highland. I think it's some pizza place that was there.
Oh.
And we connected through this middle hallway. And then sitting on the corner originally was the East Informals, the Sheffies, had a formal rental business, tuxedos there for decades. I believe I got my high school tux there for prom or semi-formal. So he was there for a long time. And then after Mrs. Sheffy passed away, they closed that, and that turned into something. And then after that, something, CMU did their art project on the corner,
Right.
which turned into the Waffle Shop.
That's right. They used to have food from countries that we were not on good terms with.
So that was after Waffle Shop with Conflict Kitchen. So Waffle Shop came about when I talked to John Rubin's class, and I went over there and he said, "What should we do here?" I said, "Do like a cafe or coffee shop." And at that time, we were getting our liquor. We had just got our liquor license, and when you serve alcohol, you have to have food. So our food menu was waffles, so we can kind of get around the situation. Right. And I got sick of making waffles. I was like, "Oh, come on, man, for real, just get a Heineken. Why are you getting waffles?"
You didn't consider the Eggos instead? Just throw them in the toaster.
You should have done that, but trying to be fancy. So I was like, "Yo, why don't y'all serve waffles here?" And I gave them my waffle irons. And I was like, "Yo, if I need waffles, we'll just," because it was connected to another hallway, a shared hallway. So I was like, "We need something. I'm just gonna come through the back, place and just serve it." So that's the story behind the Waffle Shop. And then on their side door on Baum Boulevard, they started doing Conflict Kitchen because I was selling. I let someone sell hot dogs next to them out front. So they were like, "Oh, hold on, you're competing with our late night. We're gonna set up here." That's a fun story.
That's a fun time. So, right.
Yeah.
So listen, to grow Pittsburgh, given your leadership, so to grow Pittsburgh, we have to make a community that's really welcoming for all. Mm-hmm. And music, culture, food, they're essential. They're essential to our fabric. So what are some of the positive trends that you're seeing? I mean, I know we're in a pandemic, but you certainly have an ear to the ground. What are some positive trends that you're seeing?
I would say from a, macro standpoint, and this is a project I'm involved with now on the consulting end, you're starting to have, I guess, developers, or at least people that have leverage and power that are at the table that make these decisions that kind of ripple through communities and have unintended consequences, that are wanting to be intentional about those ripples and not just doing things like, all right, we got land here, let's bam, 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 set this up, make our money, whatever happens, whoever catches the elbow, too bad, free market, capitalism. So the project I'm in now, I was asked to join in June of 2019, and we signed on September 2019. That's one of the reasons I stepped down from Spirit at the end of 2019 to pursue this. And then, COVID hit and that got on pause for a little bit, but that's back up and running. So I think even if you're doing a project or a development that is actually financially beneficial, to be inclusive, to make sure that there's a certain level of minority participation that's not just pandering, that's like, all right, I'll let you, one of the things I see in Homewood all the time, there's always talks of all this development money that's being poured in Homewood, which is true. And then when I see like the work sites where they got like direct traffic or they're working heavy machinery, this game throughout Pittsburgh. If you see any road work going on, if there is a Black person on the crew, they're the ones holding, for the 9 times out of 10, they're the one holding the sign that says, slow down, stop. They're not the ones working the heavy machinery. Wow. That's actually like the trade. So that's something that needs to happen. And that's just on a tangent, some of the things I see that are
right.
just wrong. It's like, why me and my girlfriend at the time, we went to Cleveland last minute to see Kendrick Lamar a few years ago. And we're a little bit late and we're rushing through Cleveland to House of Blues and came across a construction crew and I lost my mind. She said, what are you talking about? I was like, look, it's like 10 o'clock at night. They all Black working, and that's how behind Pittsburgh is. Like, why is that exciting to me? It's not like they're doctors or just regular dudes doing regular, construction drill stuff. But that blew my mind. Like, oh, they'll never let that happen in Pittsburgh. So there are some, in the top levels of where these decisions get made and who gets what and where that money goes. Because when I drive around and look at these development projects, I don't look at it like, oh, that's nice. So they're doing something new. I count paychecks. I'm like, oh, how many paychecks do I see out there? And how much of that money is actually going to people that, later hit down at night in this neighborhood? So if you're not measuring that, then it's not really a development for that. It's not a development for Homewood. It's a development for wherever that money is going. Because that money is getting spent at their restaurant or their bar, their, bartender, busboy. And if you just follow where that money goes, a lot of these, for the most part, Black communities just end up with new shiny things that they don't own. So then it's just another wealth extraction. You're like, all right, so we got these new affordable housing or, but it's for rent. And it's like, hold on, what? No, no, I don't care that it's new. Like, let's get that $60,000 house that, we could put 20 into it and make that available for sale. So my mind goes all over the place.
No, it's great. Listen, you're a big community supporter and you have wide eyes. I mean, you're looking at everything with wide eyes. So I appreciate that. But, based upon your unique perspective though, how can culture really help Pittsburgh rebound, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's the leaving people behind or everything that you just talked about a moment ago in terms of work? How can
I think culture, music, food, once we get hopefully back to places where we can gather socially, this is one of the things that, I reflect back on Shadow Lounge, and a lot of people reach out and say what they appreciate about Lounge. It was a cross section of everybody, because the common denominator was people's love for the culture. So it didn't matter if you're coming from a 9-to-5 behind a desk, or throwing up drywall. There was a conversation that could be had, or a certain acknowledgement of humanity, where it's like, we're both experiencing this thing right now together, that can never be duplicated. And that's one of the things with like live music and just being out. There's so many things that happen where you hear about the next day, and it's like, this isn't Netflix or Hulu where I can press pause and watch it in its entirety again and not lose anything from it. It's being in a place, time with certain people, and the energy that they give, that is just like, it shifts the way you think. And if you can have those experiences together, and there's someone that you may have had, a certain outlook towards or thought differently of, the next time you see them outside of that, hey, I saw you at the band conversation, what do you do? And those are things on like on a real small micro level that could snowball into, could just be a relationship, could just be Facebook friends, it could just be, you know what, I have a job opening up, I haven't posted it yet, you'll be perfect for it. And it's how everybody gets jobs, is someone knows someone and they have in mind. But if we are in our own silos, not meshing, then it's
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's not gonna work. So the more mix up you have on the top level of decision making, the more you expand your network.
You're right. You're spot on. And we're coming to the end of our time with you, but I would be remiss to not plug your business and make sure that people know about your business and know that he's actually been incredibly innovative during a time where many have not survived. And I applaud all the things that you're interested in, Justin, and what you've done behind the scenes, and probably haven't gotten enough credit for being the pioneer that you've been, and you will continue to be. I have no doubt that you will continue to do that. And I ask that everyone in the tech community who's listening on this call follow him and listen to the words that he's just articulated in the brief time that we've had together. And it's hard during the pandemic to, bust out of your silos, but here we are. We met Justin today, and I'm sure it's easy to find him, and he can figure out lots of ways to keep us connected. But I also want to issue a challenge to everyone. If you don't use Justin Strong's cleaners yet, and he does almost everything as he mentioned, we put the address out there. But if not, and you are living near cleaners or you use a cleaners, go out, take something out of your closet and go to your cleaners and take a picture of it and share it with all of us. Okay. I don't care what it is. Share it with all of us and just tag it. I don't care. Tag it on social media, PGH Dry Cleans. But it's our job in the tech community as we prosper to make sure that all those around us prosper. That's what our role is. As we build companies, we're building the future, and we're also building communities. And that community includes all the services that actually drive an amazing place that we are. So it's our responsibility in the tech community, where we are, many of us have the luxury of being able to do these things, is to spread it. And Justin gave some good tips of ways to bust those silos. And he's also, I'm sure, onto a million other things. I'm sure as we hang up, he's got his hands in a million other things. But I just want to thank Justin for just taking the time with us, just, talking a little bit about where you're at and the kinds of things that matter to you and some of the advice that you're giving all of us. And I value that. I really appreciate that. And we are listening and we're learning. And the pandemic has given us an opportunity to learn.
Yes. That's when people say, go back to normal. I know we don't want.
No, I'm with you. There is no going back.
Do not.
There is no going back. So I want to thank you, Justin. We are no longer strangers. So if there's anything that any of us can do, don't hesitate. I want to thank Kit Mueller for making sure that we stayed connected, and Ryan Jen on our team. And tomorrow, don't go away, because tomorrow we have Dawn Keyser, is that right? Who
Dawn
runs
Keyser's showing
Southwest
up.
Pennsylvania film industry. And there's a bunch of films that are being shot here locally. And she's going to give us a little bit of an update about what's happening in that arena. So again, thank you to Justin Strong. Take pictures, go to your cleaners, take advantage of our people who are building small businesses, because those small businesses are the fabric of Pittsburgh. So thank you again.
Can I plug my site?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if you choose us, you can go to comegetmydrycleaning.com. And
Oh,
it's
that's
easy.
awesome.
Love it.
Okay.
just pick up and deliver. You don't have to go nowhere.
That's great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. So like, do I stay on?